Well, there are almost as many new Christmas movies each December as there are snowflakes. Many are shot in Canada, and two this week star an actress who has been charming audiences for years across North America. She is this week's guest on Brio TV, the podcast. My wife Sandra's sainted mother, Lucia, was a pretty good TV critic. She would sit in front of the TV and knit and watch those rom-coms, those Christmas movies that are on every year, and sum them up in 6 words. They meet, and then they kiss. My guest this week has made over 3 dozen made-for-television movies. She knows the formula better than anyone. Not only did she star in several Hallmark movies, she also was the headliner of one of that network's most popular series, the Aurora Teagarden novels. Before that, as a child star, she was part of the cast of the long-running TGIF family series Full House, as well as years later, its streaming sequel, Fuller House. Of course, I'm talking about Candace Cameron Bure. She's been in television as long as I've been covering it, for over 4 decades. She, however, started when she was 5. I was a little older when I started writing for TV Guide Canada. In 2022, this shows you how old I am, Cameron Bure broke away from Hallmark and joined others making movies for the Great American Family Network. And when I say making movies, she's not just one of the busiest stars, she's also the chief content officer for the company. And that's not just a figurehead deal, as she explains on this episode. She is hands-on, especially in her commitment to making sure these films mean more than just, well, they meet and they kiss. Although they all do that as well. But in 2 movies premiering right before Christmas, both premiering in Canada on one of our sponsors here at Brio TV, Super Channel, the movies are scripted to include references to faith and belief. They are not overtly religious, as Bure explains, but they show values that for many viewers, and certainly for Cameron Bure's family, are part of who they are. So don't hate her for putting a little bit of Christ back in Christmas. That message dates back to one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies, 1947's It's a Wonderful Life. You can bet that director Frank Capra didn't feel sheepish about suggesting that every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. And that same underlying message is there in subtle ways in 2 movies premiering this December on Great American Family and on Super Channel, A Christmas Less Traveled and Home Sweet Christmas. One even ends with a close-up of a bell ringing. That both films were shot in real snow in Canada, well, Bure knows all about that. Most of her movies were Canadian-made. She's even married to a hockey player, former Montreal Canadian and Calgary Flames star Valerie Bure. Here she is, Candace Cameron Bure. Thank you very much for doing this today. I know you're very busy. And I watched both of the movies and really enjoyed them. So congratulations.
Thank you.
They're very sweet, but also I liked a lot about them, so we'll talk about that. But it's a pleasure meeting you here today. You're in great hands. First, Pam Slay is an old pal from the Television Critics Association. She's hosted many critics like myself over the years, so I know you know how valuable she is.
Yes.
And of course, you're not just the star of these films, you're also an executive at Great American. What has that been like? I mean, that's a lot of responsibility. What are your responsibilities there?
Yeah. Well, it's really wonderful. It was a big reason why I moved over to Great American Family Channel, because I've been in this industry for 40 plus years. I mean, I've been acting since I was 5, and then been in this genre, the Christmas genre, for more than 15 years. And I'm a very entrepreneurial person. I'm very business minded. And so it was really an evolution of my career, because while I enjoy being in front of the camera, I very much enjoy being behind the camera, probably even more producing, and then coming over to Great American as the chief creative officer, it's allowed me to help build the network with them and see creatively the choices that we're making and listening to our viewers and what they're looking for, and really having an overall vision and being part of that with the team for the channel. And so some of my responsibilities are truly looking at all the content and being a part of that decision making and what we're putting on and the types of movies and programming that we have, and then also every creative aspect from our taglines to the little interstitial commercials that we put up in between movies, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it shows. And you mentioned you'd been in the business 40 years, which sounds impossible. But I looked up your IMDb credits. You know, I started working in Canada at TV Guide Canada in late 1982. And I think you have a credit dating back that far, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
But as you said, you were just a child. So congratulations on that tremendous run.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about what you just raised, though, about your creative input before we get specific on these films. You know, both of them have elements of, faith and belief, and that seemed like an extra layer that makes them stand out. There's some specific references, but it seems to be done in a really interesting way. So I'm guessing that your involvement extends there very much, right?
It does, yes. And that's something that separates our channel or sets it apart, is that we really do lean into faith content. And I've been a woman of faith for many, many years. I'm very outspoken about it. But I'm always looking to incorporate it in the most authentic way. I never want to hit anyone over the head with the Bible. I don't.
Right, yeah.
That's not what these movies are all about. And yet, with just the tweak of a few little lines, it can very much involve a faith aspect versus a fate aspect or a magical aspect, especially when it comes to Christmas. And so those are things that I look very particularly at when I'm helping develop a script or we're working with the writers on it. There was one line in the movie Home Sweet Christmas that originally had said like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for the one to come."
Right.
And we changed that line and I rewrote it and I said, "I'm waiting for God to bring me the right one."
Yeah.
And so just the little change of those words, it really makes a difference for our audience, and it really resonates. Yeah,
I think you're right. It's that they're very subtle changes, and in the other film too, the ultimate message seems to be there's two of them really: pursue your dreams, but also forgiveness. So these are themes that you don't necessarily have to be affiliated with a specific church to grasp and embrace, right?
No, not at all. And that's why, again, there's little faith threads and faith nuggets, but you can come from any denomination. And I think, that's what I think most of us believe that, there are biblical principles that really apply to all of life. A lot of people sometimes don't even realize they come right out of the Bible. So things like forgiveness, that is such an important characteristic for us to be able to forgive, which can sometimes be so incredibly difficult. And yet it's talked about so much from a faith point of view. It's where it stems from. And so we'll take themes like that and incorporate that. And that is very much in A Christmas Less Traveled, is that theme of forgiveness.
Yeah, no, I think it really gives it another dimension. My wife, Sandra, her late mother used to say, she would watch all these movies and say, "Oh, they kiss and they meet and then they kiss, and that is the end." But I think if you put some purpose behind it, another dimension, I think it really makes it stand out, right?
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back in a moment with Candace Cameron Bure. Well, heat up your candy cane, your hot chocolate, put on your best ugly Christmas sweater, and get cozy. 'Tis the season for Super Channel's annual Heart and Home Christmas holiday movie event, and it's brimming with ho 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 holiday cheer. The merry lineup of festive films has already kicked off and features 21 new movies, including 12 Canadian broadcast premieres and 17 Canadian productions. Making the holiday countdown merry and bright are fan favorites Candace Cameron Bure, Cameron Mathison, Danica McKellar, Jill Wagner, Eric Johnson, Josh Collins, and Oliver Rice. Follow Super Channel Heart and Home's Instagram page for dates and details. And remember, Super Channel is available via most cable providers across the country, as well as streaming via Amazon Prime Video channels and Apple TV Plus, as well as available to stream directly on Super Channel Plus. Well, the most wonderful time of the year is here, and what better way than to watch a movie or two or specials or other goodies on Paramount Plus Canada. Grab your hot cocoa and dive in with all the holiday cheer of that 1947 favorite, It's a Wonderful Life, Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights, Scrooged, Holly Jolly Homicide, and so much more. Plus, will Santa make it to Bikini Bottom? Kids and the young at heart can enjoy an all-new stop-motion animated SpongeBob SquarePants holiday special, SpongeBob and Sandy's Country Christmas. And nothing says Christmas more than the return of a favorite anti-hero with the highly anticipated prequel Dexter: Original Sin. Christian Slater stars as Dexter's daddy, Harry, and yes, that is original Dexter Michael C. Hall narrating this 10-episode thriller, which premieres December 13th. Take a stab at something different this holiday season when Dexter: Original Sin premieres on Paramount Plus Canada. And here she is again, Candace Cameron Bure. I wanted to ask about, you could call the channel, I know in Canada we enjoy your films on Super Channel, and especially these two that are coming out this Christmas, but you could almost call this the Great Canadian Family Channel because you shoot so many of them here in Canada, right?
It's true.
I'm sure you must have lost track as to how many movies you've made in Canada.
Well, I've shot over 30 television movies. Actually, in more recent years, I've actually shot about 50 television movies. And I would say, more than half of them have been in Canada, definitely. Probably 3/4 of them have been there. So my husband also played hockey in Canada for many years because he was a professional NHL player. We played in Montreal and Calgary. So I feel like I'm an honorary Canadian at times because I have spent half my life in Canada.
Oh my goodness, you are, and your husband is Valerie Bure, of course, and his brother Pavel. The two of them are superstars, and enjoyed a lot of hockey fans have loved watching them play. Do you skate yourself? Were you a skater growing up?
I wasn't a skater. I'm about as good as putting on a pair of rental skates and skating forward in a circle.
That's all right. Well, has Valerie performed in any of your films? Let's put the skate on the other foot.
I know. He has not. He's had a few cameos because he's been in some photographs in my films, but nothing more than that. And I don't think he wants to be in them because he would be the first to say, I'm not an actor.
Well, hell of a hockey player, so pretty cool. Let's talk about A Christmas Less Traveled. Now, the first thing that jumped out for me on this film was this incredible, besides yourself and your co-star, but this great Ford truck. I mean, this beautiful red truck. It was really something to see. Did you get a chance to drive that truck?
Oh, I drove that truck entirely. So everything you saw in the film of us driving was me driving. Even these big wide shots where you see the aerial view of the truck driving down the road. We had some great drone cameras. That was all me driving. It was so much fun to drive. It was an automatic, which made it much easier, but we actually had I can drive a stick shift. And so that part wasn't a problem. But because we had a girl that was playing me at 16 years old, we originally thought that the truck was a stick shift, and it was very hard to cast that 16-year-old that would be able to drive a stick shift.
Right. Wow. Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Fun little factoid.
There you go. Whereabouts was A Christmas Less Traveled shot?
We shot it in Kelowna, British Columbia.
Lovely. And is it, traditionally, often you'll hear these films are shot in Canada in June or July or August, and then they have to dress everything with snow or shaved ice or things. Was that the case with Christmas Less Traveled?
No, it wasn't, thankfully. And I think you'll see that when you watch the film, because when you are really shooting this in the wintertime and you see the snow and the elements, you can see the difference that the real snow makes. So we shot that movie very early in the year. It was still in the wintertime.
That does make sense, because you're driving and there's snow everywhere. There's no way you could roll. There isn't enough cotton batting in the world. No. But Eric Johnson, you've played opposite a lot of Canadian actors, obviously, Eric being one of them. I think he's from Edmonton originally. Yep. Is that him playing guitar in the film? He does a beautiful job if it is.
It was fantastic. We had asked him, really, once we started the movie, we said, oh, by the way, do you play guitar? Because, you can kind of fake it. We can put the sound in after. And he said, I play a little bit. And we said, okay. And he said, could you give me the music? And we said, sure. So he said, I'll just try to learn it so at least it looks like my fingers are really playing it. And then on the day, he surprised all of us. And it was so beautiful. That was really him playing. I mean, every little note that he played, and it just came out so beautiful. And we were like, why were you hiding that from us?
It's it's another touch of authenticity, right? That helps add up to a better film. Exactly. It is pretty cool. Also, I have to say, I love your Christmas jammies in that film with that light up. Did you get to bring those home?
I did not. I didn't want to. They were so cute. Our costume designer did a great job, but it really was a whole light string strung, because she had to create those. So they weren't the most comfortable if you were really wearing them in real life. I bet. But they're pretty cute on the film. And then Eric, I'm thinking we set this up. He's playing a character who is from Miami, I believe, from Florida. So he's not used to the cold weather, and he's come up to investigate, and it's being kind of sneaky about it at the beginning of the film, about why he's there with you. But he's wearing like a shirt and a jacket you might wear in, August. He looks like he should be free, even though he's from Edmonton and used to it. He should be freezing. I was so glad at the end of the film he finally gets a decent sweater. I know. That was the running gag through the movie, that he's the Miami guy that doesn't know how to dress for winter. Yeah, no, it was pretty fun. Do you, I guess, you're so involved in all of these films now, do you get to choose your leading men? I do. Yeah. I really produce these films from the ground up. Okay. Wow. And so we see Eric in this film, but in the next film, it's Cameron Mathison, right? Yeah. And I presume you've worked with both of these gentlemen before. No. So first time working with Eric Johnson, and he was so wonderful. It's always interesting because you have lists of names and you work with casting directors, and I often love working with new people because I like bringing new faces to the channel. And so that's why when we were looking through people, Eric Johnson really caught my eye, and I thought he would be fabulous. And he was game to do it, which was really fun for us. It was a very cute story because he had said, I think he's done one Christmas movie. It was a long time ago, but that's not the type of films that he does. Typically. So when he said yes, we would do it. He said, I have to tell you, I said yes because I wanted to work with you, Candace, because you're my mom's favorite. And this is my Christmas gift to my mom. I'm not going to tell her I'm in the movie, and we're just going to sit down and watch the movie together. And she's going to be so excited that we did a Christmas movie together. Isn't that cute?
That is adorable. And I bet you it's true. She's going to be very delighted. What a sweet gift. So pretty cool.
So that was so nice. And then Cameron Mathison, we have been friends for 15 years, and he is kind of a king of Christmas movies. He's so well loved, and we had just not found the right project together. So when I found this script, A Home Sweet Christmas, and it's about two childhood friends reuniting, I thought this is perfect for me and Cameron. And it was delightful to work with Cameron.
Well, you're well paired in both films. These guys make a lot of sense. And also, let's talk about the meet cute, right? It's a term when the two meet in the film. Both of these films, in the first one, what is it? He slips on the ice and you slip on top of him. And in the second one, you're climbing a rope ladder into a treehouse, and you both slip and you're dangling. Is that a special part of the formula? You got to have a great meet cute.
Always. Absolutely.
They're pretty outstanding examples in both of these films. Whereabouts was Home Sweet Christmas? Was that also shot in BC?
It was in BC. We shot that on the island in Victoria.
Oh, wow. That's very cool. It's funny. My wife and I moved to a little town north of Toronto about an hour earlier this year, Orangeville. And there was some white trucks shooting around there because it has that it's a place of about 25, 30,000 people. But I'm sure you've visited many of these communities in Canada over the course of making these films, right? There seems to be a lot of main streets that just work for you.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, because I get so many letters every year, whether they're from places people in Canada or people in the US, but they always say, our town would be so incredible for one of your movies. Like, we have the perfect little town. And I love hearing that. And yet, I wish I could go to just any town. But what a lot of people don't realize is on the production side of it, we have to work in places where we have good film crews that are readily available, and then places that just make sense on a financial level with who we're working at, because you got to, put everyone up in hotels. You have to bring people if you're in a part of the country that isn't a film industry place. Right.
Well, it helps at least with BC and Vancouver being in the same time zone as LA, right? So that helps, I'm sure. And then, of course, in this film as well with Cameron, there's another great vintage vehicle, an Airstream trailer. Like, this is... anyone who's ever been in one, it's like, wow. So it's just these little nuggets, as you say, that seems to be part of the formula, is that you're sort of reaching touchstones that are very nostalgic, right?
Yeah, I think so. Our tagline at Great American Family is Christmas as it's meant to be. And so we want to bring you those movies that do touch on nostalgia, that bring back memories, maybe from when you were a childhood. And I love those in my movies. And what I love too with the channel in general, because I know you'll have more films than just mine that are airing probably on the Super Channel, is that there's a mix. There's a mix of very contemporary themes and that are fun. But as I get older, I think I'm becoming more nostalgic. And so I'm always looking for that within my scripts. I'm not 30 years old anymore. And so things, they feel different. And I want them to feel relative to my time and age in life right now.
Well, that's the perfect segue for my next question. You're seen as one of the queens of Christmas movies and family films. Do you have a favorite old Hollywood Christmas film? Is there one that pops out that you grew up watching that you just have always loved?
I love A White Christmas. I love the singing and dancing. It just doesn't get better for me than that one. I love it. And then it's still old now. It's so weird that this movie is old because it feels like it just came out a couple years ago, is Elf.
Yeah.
I think it's probably 20 years old already, but I love that movie. It makes our family laugh so hard.
It is surprising. I feel like the Polar Express is celebrating 20 years this year. You know,
Wow.
like it. I know what's my reaction. I mean, I grew up watching It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street and films like that. Don't go away. Candace will be right back. Well, as some of you know, I've been collecting 16mm film for many years and sharing them recently with audiences at the Westdale Theatre in Hamilton, Ontario. The next TV on Film party screening is a Christmas-themed one, and it's happening Saturday, December 21st, starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when I'll be showing 5 classic animated shorts, 2 from the 1930s and 1 each from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. The standout might be the one from 1939. It was nominated for both an Oscar and a Nobel Peace Prize, and we have a beautiful print. Stick around after the shorts, as the Westdale is also showing a 20th anniversary screening of the Polar Express, featuring the voice of Tom Hanks. In between, we'll award some cool Christmas-themed prizes for answering cartoon trivia questions, courtesy the folks at Retro Festive. For tickets and information, go to thewestdale.ca. Hope to see you there. Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year. We're back with Emily Gagne. Emily, what do you got here? You got a great deal for us for this Christmas, right?
Yes, I've got some sweet treats for movie lovers.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Hollywood Suite is on free preview from December 1st to January 5th. And that means if you have cable in Canada, you most likely can watch Hollywood Suite, all 4 of our channels, plus our on-demand selection for free.
That's like getting hundreds of Christmas presents, right? You got so many great movies coming up.
Exactly. And, sometimes you just want to kick back after a crazy family dinner or maybe a crazy night on New Year's and just watch a marathon of your favorite movies. We've got all the Christmas classics like Love Actually, The Holiday, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But also we have Paddington, which I think is one of the best movies ever.
There you go. Britain's favorite bear. Listen, Emily, have a great Christmas yourself. Thank you very much for all the update on Hollywood Suite.
Thanks, Bill.
And we're back. Do you identify now? I'm going to throw names of 4 famous Hollywood actresses from going back to the 40s who are known for great Christmas films. Which one do you identify with? Barbara Stanwyck, Donna Reed, Loretta Young, or Maureen O'Hara, or any of them?
Maybe Donna Reed. I don't know. She's just so wholesome and pure.
That's true. And from It's a Wonderful Life. That's great. Now, how are you celebrating Christmas this year? What's a typical Christmas for you?
Well, I'm so grateful that I'm at home and I'm with my husband, and our boys live very close, and my daughter's going to fly to us. And so we'll be spending Christmas together. And Christmas these days, it's much more simple, and I love that. And we started a new tradition about 5 years ago, and we wake up Christmas morning very early because we go out together and we watch the sunrise. We'll usually go on a little hiking trail and we watch the sunrise, and it's so beautiful, and it really sets the tone for the day and just what we're celebrating and God's creation and a Savior that was born. So that's been really meaningful to us and special. And then, of course, we go home and give gifts. And then the rest of the day is all about food and music and having fun and just hanging out. Well,
that's a great idea. It sounds really special to see the sun come up. Mm-hmm. Now, and you mentioned your family. I believe you have 3 children, and is one of them is an actress? Is she? Is already? Yeah. Is this now you being a former child star yourself? Did you have any reservations about one of your children getting involved in this industry?
I didn't, honestly. I've had a great experience, and now that I've been in it so long, I obviously have the tools to help navigate her career, especially when she was a child, because she wanted to start acting around 13 or 14. And so I was fine with that. I encouraged it, but I knew that, Mama Bear knows the things. So I knew how to protect her. And now that she's in her 20s and is an adult, it's really special because it's something we bond over, and Natasha still very much sends me all of her auditions. I'll often do the auditions with her because you send them on videotape to casting directors. And, it's incredible that to me as a mom, that she trusts me and wants my input and, shows me everything she does before she sends it out. And I help, whenever she wants it, I'm always available to help. So she always comes to Mama for advice. Why
wouldn't she? She's very fortunate to have you as a mom and a consultant. That's great. The other, I'm sorry, I meant to also ask, and have you ever acted with your daughter in any production?
I have. We actually, when she was younger, she was in a Christmas movie of mine called Switched for Christmas. And so she actually played my daughter in that. And I think she was about 14 or 15. And then she also played a younger version of my character, Aurora Teagarden, which I had a long-standing mystery series, the Aurora Teagarden. And our very last one that we shot, she played like a 17-year-old Aurora. And that was really wonderful. But those are the 2 times we worked together. It was such a pleasure for me. And but she's also really has been pursuing her career for herself. So sometimes I've actually said, like, Natasha, let's do this together or that project together. And she's like, no, Mom, I don't want to only be known as your daughter. She's like, I'm trying to establish my own career. So I very much respect it.
Good for her. That's smart. Now, just wrapping things up, I wanted to ask, do you have a favorite animated Christmas special? There's the 3, Charlie Brown Christmas, The Grinch, Rudolph, or something else. Is there one that your family?
I'm going to throw a new one in.
Please.
I would say Charlie Brown Christmas special because I absolutely love that they read right out of the Bible from it. It's just like the best thing ever. And I never caught that as a kid, but as an adult, I appreciate it so very much. But there's a new animated Christmas movie that came out 2 years ago, and it's called Reindeer in Here. And I actually voiced one of the reindeer characters in it. And it's on streaming. It always plays here in the US on cable television every year, but it's on streaming. You can find it. But it's a very cute story about being yourself, even if that looks a little different from everyone else. And it's just adorable. And there's even like plush toys that go with it. And it's all about this reindeer called Blizzard, and there's another reindeer called Pinky. And she's a reindeer, of course, and I play her. I voice her character. It
must be wonderful to share something like that with your children, to watch hear Mom's voice on TV, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Did your kids obviously would have grown up being Full House fans?
You would think, but they didn't watch it that much. They watched it occasionally, but I don't know. I think they liked a whole bunch of other shows more than Full House.
Is it true one of your co-stars, Dave Coulier, did he introduce you to your husband?
He did, yes.
Yeah, that's sweet. We're hearing the sad news that he's has a health issue there. I hope all is well with Dave, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm just trying to find it here because there's one last thing I wanted to ask, and it was about a specific moment in the film. You guys, there's a drive-in theater element to A Christmas Less Traveled, at a gathering, and they show a black and white movie on the screen. And it had a lovely little tie-in to your themes of faith. I'm just trying to find it. But I wondered, was that an actual film, or was it created for the movie? Do you know the part I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what yes. Again, because I produce these films, I'm like,
Right.
I'm going through literally everything to get this material. So it's an actual film, and it was a television version of It's a Wonderful Life. Because we originally wanted It's a Wonderful Life, but the rights to show that movie were way too high for our budget.
Right.
But we found a television version of that movie, and we were able to clear it, and we got it. So we were so excited. And yeah, when you're making these movies, you always have to have a plan B and sometimes a plan C as to what the vision is and what you want, and then what you can actually attain because of your budgets. So yeah, it was also a beautiful movie.
Yeah, and there's a line that is spoken: faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. Mm-hmm. Pretty amazing. That was right there for you to showcase it. Yeah, worked out really well. Well, Candace, it's lovely to talk to you and meet you, and congratulations on these two films back to back coming up. December 17th, I think, is the first one.
Yep.
The Christmas Less Traveled. And the other is right after that, I think a couple of days before Christmas. So that's pretty good double barrel Christmas for you. I just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas and your whole family, and thank you very, very much for taking the time to do this today.
Well, Bill, thanks so much for having me on, and it was so great chatting with you, and have a Merry Christmas too.
My thanks to Adrian and Amy, the publicity team at Super Channel, as well as one of the Television Critic Association's favorite publicity bosses, Great American Family's Pam Slay, for setting up this interview with Cameron Bure. Merry Christmas as well to Phil Hong. Never a Christmas Grinch, no matter how close to deadline I sent him my latest interview. I am ever grateful to BJ Del Conte, Paul Boudra, and all the Crispy Critters, as well as piano man Stephen Dudley, for the music you hear on this podcast. Finally, thanks to you, listener. If you enjoyed this conversation, let us know with a like or a comment. I'm Bill Brio. Thanks for listening.